The Bay of Green Bay has been a multi-million-dollar sports fishing industry for decades. In addition to fishermen, sport shops, restaurants, hotels, and numerous other businesses have benefited from a productive fishing environment.
There's a lot of positive impact for when fishing tournaments or fishermen come to the community. There's a lot of dollars spent in a lot of different avenues to pursue Northern Pike and sport fish in general. Each adult Northern Pike is worth roughly about $156 per fish of economic impact to the community. So the more fish that we can produce and have in the bay will provide a great economic boost in the community.
The scarcity of top predator species like the Northern Pike has been recognized as a significant problem in the waters of Green Bay. The northern populations in the bay have been declining, and loss of spawning habitats is believed to be a major factor.
Northern pike are an important top predator species for the Green Bay fishery, and they've definitely suffered from things like overfishing, loss of their wetland habitat, barriers that have been put in place for their migration routes. So it's all about maintaining this balance in the Green Bay fish community, and Northern Pike are an important part of that balance.
There's a lot of people out on that bay that really enjoy the northern fishing in the winter and the spring and summer, and the population is down. We got to get it back up. It's nothing like it used to be.
There's not as many in there, and you'd be able to drive by years ago and you could see ripples when you would drive, and you almost never see it now. The numbers aren't there like they used to be.
Over 70% of the historic wetlands along the west shore of the bay have been lost over the years because of the ongoing growth of the human population.
Wetlands, unfortunately, we have a very small percentage of what there used to be left. And so restoration is something that's definitely important, but we definitely work hard to protect what's there because they're the natural sponges and filters, for our environment. And so to have a healthy ecosystem, you really need a wetland to help filter out the pollutants.
We do have a lot of tools, monitoring, and research that we do along with these projects that help look at the entire landscape and all of the wetlands adjacent to Green Bay, not just in Brown County, but up the rest of the west shore to the north and also the east shore to evaluate future work.
These factors are why the work on the West Shore Pike Habitat Project has been essential. The project presents a tremendous opportunity to not only save the northern population, but also have a positive impact on the entire ecosystem of the bay.
The goal of our project is to increase Northern Pike numbers in the bay and Fox River. And we do that by a couple things. One is we remove impediments for fish, which is a big one in these urbanized areas. There's a lot of rock dams, bad culverts, a lot of things that impede fish movement. And the other thing we're doing is restoring wetlands for these fish to spawn in, because wetlands are really the critical habitat for these pike and other fish that use these tributaries to spawn. Wetlands are really critical for those success of those fish.
This is a great opportunity for us to turn a project like this into an educational project. But the other benefits is we're going to be improving the stream that the pike depend on for spawning, and we'll be able to create some other habitat for the ducks and other species that actually depend on that type of wetland and stream environment. So there's definitely a lot more benefits to just restoring it for the pike.
The project has been a year-round endeavor since 2007. Research is at the heart of every decision. In the early spring of each year, staff and University of Wisconsin-Green Bay graduate students document the northern locations using pike nets to capture, tag, and record the essential details of the adult pike population.
We want to learn more about northern pike so we can inform future management. Right? So we want to do the best job we can. We're learning about northern pike. Anytime we implement something new, we want to do the best job that we can. We want to have the biggest impact on the fishery as possible. And so that's where research comes into play. We have to do the research, we have to learn about them, and then we can move sort of baby steps forward to make the best decisions that we possibly can.
The monitoring work continues for months. Flags are placed in locations where spawning activity is present and the statistics are validating the success of the project.
We're evaluating where we're seeing adult fish. So on the west shore, we can see a lot of fish because the water's clear. So visually we just walk and we look for fish and we can see them spawning or recuperating or they're visible. Here in these tributaries of the Fox, the water is much more turbid, so the only way to do any kind of adult evaluations in the early spring is pike netting.
In order to restore ecological function and increase populations of pike and other spawning fish species, the project partners have and will continue to create vegetated buffers along the roads and streams by working with private landowners.
What they're doing here is they're making this a wide and shallow area so the water warms up early in the spring to get the fish in here and get them spawning, so they can actually release the babies back out into the creeks before the water level goes down, so all the minnows can go back to the bay instead of being stranded here and dying off or the birds eat them all.
The buffers provide habitat for spawning fish. They also improve fish survival rates by moderating stream flow and help reduce sediment and nutrient loads reaching the stream systems and bay.
The landowner involvement is the most critical part of this whole project. Most of these projects and things we're doing are on private property, so without their involvement and their help to do this, we would have very limited success. So all these landowners are critical to the success of this project.
We were so happy to be a part of it. It's not just for us, this is for everybody. This is for everybody. It's, you just have it in your heart and you want to see a dream come true. You want to see a dream come true.
Well, let's say it's a payback. You know, I took, now I'm giving back. We're putting it to good use. Hopefully this helps me and you and everybody else.
When they are not on the water, biologists and researchers work to identify sites that would produce the best results for the fish population and ecosystem. Once landowners agree to support the project, the plans are implemented and select farm fields are turned into new river channels.
No matter how cold it is, they're out there. They're out there in that water and they're waders, and they are dedicated and committed, yes, very much so. So it's of great importance to a lot of people.
The project partners have also seen great success in the growth of the fish population by improving existing streams in both rural and urbanized areas by removing impediments that in the past prevented northern free access to travel upstream to spawn.
They move a lot, they're very opportunistic in their spawning habits. So if the conditions are right, if the triggers such as flow and temperature are correct, they'll migrate into these tributaries and spawn.
The northern population is not the only thing that benefits from the restoration work. Numerous other species have seen growth because of the enhanced habitats.
The surprising thing, I think, for at least me, that we've found with these restored properties, it's not just northern pike utilizing them. We have things like bowfin, we have yellow perch, we have a variety of other fish species that are utilizing these wetlands either for reproduction or for foraging, more than what we ever thought.
Other benefits that we get out of this project besides just the pike are other wildlife that will depend on the improved and restored stream and wetlands will be ducks, geese, and other species that depend on it. And then as well as the awareness and education side of it. Those are definitely some strong benefits.
3380, and it's a female.
They are trapping northern pike fishies, and then once they trap them, they measure them and take them so that they know that it's theirs.
The goal of the project is to get more northern pike in Wisconsin.
It's amazing when we put these pike nets in, people are shocked at what we're finding, that there's actually fish in these tributaries, you know, and there's some remnant beautiful fish that are there, and they're attempting to reproduce. The kids that are out here enjoying this today are the ones that are going to benefit from that in the future with healthy fish populations.
The restoration project has no expiration date. All the partner organizations know that in order for future anglers to catch the big ones, and businesses to thrive around the bay, the work needs to continue.
You come back 50 years from now, just like it is now, with improvement as time goes by. We'll still be taking care of the preservation and restoration of the wildlife and the fish.
We're very happy and proud of the work we've done so far, mainly on the West Shore in combination with Oconto County, but we know that we've got a lot more to do. We've really just scratched the surface of Northern Pike restoration efforts when it comes to constructing wetlands and removing impediments, especially on these Fox River tributaries. We found a lot of work, especially impediment removals, that we need to address to get the pike numbers back where they belong in the bay.
The West Shore Northern Pike Habitat Restoration Project is funded entirely from grants and organizations dedicated to environmental stewardship. Future work in this area will need continued funding and in-kind contributions of equipment, services, or advertising. We hope we can count on you to keep the good work going by supporting our project.